What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today we're having a look at the new Pirate Rumble banner, which is going to be replacing, I believe it's the page 1 banner that's out right now. It's being replaced by this one right here, featuring a new Rumble rare recruit being King. Luckily, no Rumble legend to speak of this time around. Perhaps next month they might have one heading into the global anniversary period. But this is a pretty interesting one because, you know, King doesn't have that much representation in Pirate Rumble. Obviously, there's Legend King, who does see some play on a quick team, for example. But this guy is really interesting, and since we had the details of his abilities, I think a lot of people have pretty much considered this is a really good Rumble rare recruit, and it's a lot better than a lot of the other characters that have been releasing recently, because not only is it just really good synergy with some of the other characters in the game, but it definitely makes some older characters that maybe you weren't even thinking of using somewhat usable, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Also, after we go through all the banner and the unit information, we'll talk more about King and how he can synergize with certain characters in Pirate Rumble. So the banner is going to go live January 6, 1900 PST time, which is during the duration of the Blitz battle. The Blitz battle will be starting tomorrow as of the release of this video, so we'll probably be live streaming that when it does go live, farming the Blitz battle like crazy. But so at news time tomorrow, we'll probably get the actual banner information with available legends and stuff like that. But let's actually break down what the actual banner is like, because it's pretty typical stuff. 30 gems for the first multi, a Rumble special ability and Rumble ability max character. Remember, that can include any character, so even if it's just a regular rare recruit, if it has Rumble abilities, you can pull that and it can come max. So don't think that that is a really good step. It's really not. Step 3, you get a legend with Rumble special in level 5. Number 4 gives you a Pirate Rumble Sugo-Fest only character, which means that it can be, you know, any Rumble rare recruit or a legend, a Rumble legend that is, it can be pulled from step 4. So that's pretty cool. And then the 5th one is a recommended step. So recommended, you see a lot of really cool characters here. You've got the new King, you've got page 1 as well, you've got Garp, and we'll talk more about Garp soon. Don Chin Jiao, also very, very good. And also Kobe. So you get one of these characters guaranteed on multi number 5. I'm tempted to do a few multis on this banner because I only have Kobe and Garp. I don't have the rest of them, like no King, no page 1, and no Don Chin Jiao. And I really would love to get Don Chin Jiao and the new King, because they do seem pretty interesting. But past that, you know, it's pretty typical stuff after the fact. You know, it's essentially the same steps. Another recommended character on the 9th, another one on the 13th, but it doesn't go higher than 13. Remember, this is just a regular Rumble step. You know, these banners are going to rerun many times over. So if you don't get these units now, it's not a big stress. Let's actually get to the meat and potatoes of the video, though. Let's talk about what the new King actually does. So in normal content, he's not going to be that good. He is a strength fighter powerhouse, and I think that those class synergies is fantastic, because we'll talk more about that in a moment. But the fact that he is both fighter and powerhouse is really, really good. Now, in normal content, he really doesn't do that much, removing 2 turns of attack down, powerhouse and fighter attack boost, he's a damage dealing special. It's not that important. And of course, his both potential abilities are damage reduction effects, which is really good, very easy to max out. Remember, for those of you who don't know, or are new to the game, when you actually use the tablets to level up their potential abilities, it does actually increase their Rumble stats, which is pretty absurd. Also, leveling up their tomes, the powers with the Forbidden Tomes, will also level up their stats in Rumble. So, just a heads up for those of you who don't know that. But let's get to the Rumble stats here. So, his Rumble ability, his passive ability, gives fighter characters level 6 attack and level 6 HP, and after 50 seconds have passed, he gives himself a further level 5 attack and level 5 CT increase. Pretty good Rumble ability, honestly. The only real thing that I could say is a bad thing about it is he doesn't give defense. And I say that because the characters that he does synergize really well with also typically give HP and attack. So the fact that he does that is kind of annoying, because you have all of these units that give HP and attack, but not a lot of defense is actually present. So I wish that he gave defense instead of HP, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty good Rumble ability. He is very self-sufficient. You can chuck him on just about any team, and he's going to be doing pretty good damage, because he gives himself level 11 attack up after 50 seconds of battle, which is pretty strong. And also the CT increase, you cannot disregard that because it's very important for what this character aims to do. The special is very important for this character. So it's a 37 CT, which is incredibly high, but it does a large range, horizontal, ignore defense for 2 times attacker's damage. I think this is the largest range, aside from Final Tap Kid, I think this is the largest range damage through defense special that we currently have in Rumble. I know that we have, characters like 8.5 Anniversary Zoro, but his single target. Rumble Kuma, he does damage through defense, but it's only to 2 targets. And I think also Superclass Doflamingo, but he only also does it to 1 target, I think. So having a character that can hit in a large horizontal range for ignore defense damage is incredibly powerful. And obviously we got Rumble Cracker, who is another strength unit, also does damage through defense, but it is only to a single target. So the big thing here is the fact that it is such a large range. And look, you can see here, this is not level 150, this is on level 99, and he has almost 2,000 attack, right? So you could think, just with base, right? Base attack, he's going to be doing, 4,000 damage, through defense, but that's not even accounting for all of the attack increases that he's going to have on himself. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage through defense. It's going to be absurd. Of course, it is in horizontal damage, which means that it has a chance to whiff and be very unreliable. But in those instances where it is able to hit multiple targets, it's such a damaging special. And if it lands, it's just devastating for the opponent. So I think it's a very powerful effect that can synergize well with a lot of the other characters in Pirate Rumble that are both fighter and powerhouse, which we'll talk about in just a moment. As for his other stuff, pretty typical behavior pattern, targets closest targets, which is one of the big issues. The fact that, you can have a whole group of enemies at the back and then one character is sitting at the front and that one character tanks all the damage. I really hate it when that occurs, and this target priority is what can really cause that to happen. But then his resistances is also really good. Dex damage reduction by 30%, and he completely evades Special Bind. That's a really cool effect, and the fact that he's a powerhouse unit that evades Special Bind is also good. Like Pirate Rumble Rare Recruit Whitebeard has a special that does, defense down and damage, but he also targets powerhouse characters for Special Bind, so this guy can evade that, which is very cool. And any other effect that has Special Bind, he can ignore it, which is just really powerful to have, as that special is very, very important for this character, and the only reason you're using him is because of this powerful special. So the fact that he can evade Special Bind is important. So we've talked about King. He's a very good character alongside some other really cool characters on this Rumble banner as well. Let's actually talk about him in Pirate Rumble and what other characters work really well with this guy. Okay, so in Pirate Rumble, I've just filtered it by characters that are both fighter and powerhouse, and we've got all the characters with the maximum combat power at the top. So we have V2 Katakuri, which is the first character that would come to mind. This guy, obviously level 7 attack, level 7 HP, level 7 speed. Pretty good across the board, and we all know how good his special is with massive large range damage, and he heals himself by 40%. Like, this guy is a beast. If you're running a fighter powerhouse squad, you are definitely using Katakuri. We got the old school Jinbei here. This is with level limit break, by the way. So he gives level 7 health and level 3 defense for your fighters, and a really interesting special where it does a medium horizontal range damage. The damage isn't that important, but it's cool that he does level 16 attack down. So if that's able to hit a wide range of enemies, that's also very good. The only real problem is it's 31 CT, which is kind of ridiculous. You're not going to be seeing that special that often. Who's Who is another really interesting character as well. Probably a character you would want to use because he does give powerhouse characters HP 5, defense 5, speed 5. And of course, when you're running a whole team of characters that are, fighter and powerhouse together, you can have these really weird situations where even though you're mainly looking at a fighter team, you can have characters that also boost powerhouse, but are also fighters that can also synergize with the rest of the squad, like what Who's Who can do here. And a special, once again, 31 CT, that does large horizontal range, and he is able to do damage through defense once again. So having these characters that are able to do it is very strong. Ulti, I think if you're running a fighter team, you're probably using Ulti on your squad. Level 6 attack, level 6 HP, once again, that common theme. And then a special that is so good, 27 CT, but then, fighter characters get attack up level 10, speed level 10, crit level 10, all for 20 seconds. And then 3 targets for 2 times damage 2 times. And the fact that all of those statistical increases occur before the special damage is very strong. So ulti hits very hard and makes the rest of your team also hit harder. But I mean, you've also got Rumble Rare Recruit like this Sober Mask, for example. He's also fighter powerhouse, and he is self-sufficient. He doesn't provide much for the squad because he is dex-centric, but the rest of the characters on the crew will boost him, so Sober Mask will be hitting pretty hard nonetheless. Legend Garp, who recently got increases with the updated stats to some of the characters in Rumble. He's a fighter powerhouse character, and he has defense 5 and HP 5 in his Rumble ability, and then he has additional stats to himself when his health falls a little lower. His special isn't that great, which is one of the big issues that I have with Garp, and yeah, they updated it so it's basically guaranteed to hit 2 targets now, whereas before he only hit characters with maximum CT, so it is still able to work, but it's not the greatest option, but he does provide additional defensive abilities with his Rumble effect, so I think that is kind of something that might be understated. Even the new treasure map Jinbei that came out recently is also a pretty good unit. He's fighter and powerhouse, but he is focused on giving powerhouse characters, once again, 6 attack, 6 HP, and he gives self-defense, and he has a pretty good special too that can provide additional bulk to your powerhouse characters on your squad. But there are a couple of other different options too, but Don Tinjiao, which we talked about earlier, who's on the Rumble banner, he actually synergizes really well with the rest of the squad. So if you just think you have all of these different units with King and Don Tinjiao, you can have, you know, Garp, you could have V2 Katakuri, these Jinbeis, Ulti, Who's Who. These characters all work pretty well together, so I'm excited to have a chance at this banner and see if we can end up pulling some of these units and see how they synergize together, because I do think that King has a lot of potential with that mass range of damage through defense in a really low cost character that you can inject on essentially any team. If he's able to get that special off, it's going to be devastating against any opponent. So that is going to wrap it up from me today. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think about Rumble King? Do you think it's going to be a worthwhile investment with all of these fighter and powerhouse characters together? I think it might be pretty good, but obviously the big glaring issue is the fact that they're all powerhouse, and you have a character such as Juan or Law, you know, flying around in the Rumble meta still, who is such an annoying character to deal with. But nonetheless, it seems like a pretty fun team to use in Rumble. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.